All right, let's dive into something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, but is very, very real: quantum computing. We're going to break down what it is, why it matters, and how it could totally change our world. So let's get into it. So let me ask you something. What if there are problems out there that are just too big? I mean, so incredibly complex that even if you hooked up every computer on the planet, you still couldn't solve them. We're talking about huge challenges, right? Like perfectly mapping out a new drug molecule to cure a disease, or figuring out the absolute best route for every single delivery van in a massive city, all at the same time. And on the more scary side, cracking the encryption that keeps all our private data safe. For the computers we have now, these problems aren't just hard, they're basically impossible. And when I say impossible, I mean it. For some of these puzzles, our absolute best supercomputers would need to run for thousands, maybe even millions of years to get an answer. It's like we've pushed our current technology to its limit and we've hit a wall, a computational wall. And to get over it, we need a totally new way of computing. So, what's the secret sauce here? What makes a quantum computer so radically different? Well, it all comes down to the way it handles information at the most fundamental level. It starts by completely rewriting the rules of the basic building block of computing, the bit. Think about the phone or laptop you're using. Everything it does is based on bits. And a bit is super simple, right? It's like a light switch. It's either off, a 0, or it's on, a 1. That's it. But a quantum bit, or what we call a qubit, well, that's more like a spinning coin. While it's spinning, it's not heads and it's not tails. It's kind of both at the same time. Only when you stop it and look, when the coin finally lands, does it pick a side. And that ability to be in multiple states at once is the first quantum superpower. It's called superposition. Because a qubit can be 0, 1, or anything in between, the power just explodes. You see, a regular computer with 4 bits can only handle one number at a time. But a quantum computer with just 4 qubits, it can hold all 16 possible combinations at the exact same time. That's not just an improvement, it's a complete game changer. Okay, so if you thought that was wild, get ready for the second superpower. And this one is seriously weird. It's called entanglement. This is where you can link 2 qubits together so their fates are intertwined. If you measure one of them, you instantly know the state of the other one, even if it's on the other side of the universe. It's such a bizarre and powerful idea that it famously freaked out Albert Einstein himself. He called it spooky action at a distance. And this spooky connection gives quantum computers another massive advantage, letting them perform calculations that are way too complex for any normal computer. So we have these incredible mind-bending principles, but how on earth do you build a machine to actually use them? Let's take a peek inside a quantum computer and see what makes it tick. You can kind of think of it in 3 layers. Way down at the bottom, you've got the hardware, the physical qubits. These things are incredibly fragile. Then there's the system software layer. This is the crucial middleman that has to control those delicate qubits and, this is super important, constantly fix all the little errors they make. And finally, on top, you have the application layer, which is where you run the special quantum programs that actually solve the problems. And this brings us to a really important reality check. Right now, we're living in what experts call the NISQ era. That stands for Noisy Intermediate Scale Quantum. And the key word there is noisy. Today's qubits are so sensitive that the slightest vibration or change in temperature can mess them up and ruin the calculation. So the biggest challenge for scientists right now is just figuring out how to manage all that noise and get these things to work reliably. But even with those challenges, the potential here is so massive that basically every major tech company and government is in a flat-out race to build a working, useful quantum computer. And how big is this race? Well, according to McKinsey, the market for quantum computing could be worth $1 trillion by 2035. That's trillion with a T. It's why you see companies like Google and IBM, plus entire countries, pouring billions of dollars into getting this right. So where is all that value going to come from? It mostly boils down to 3 types of problems. First, simulation. The pharmaceutical industry could design life-saving drugs way faster. Then there's optimization. The financial world could create near-perfect investment strategies. And finally, search problems. Things like optimizing traffic flow for an entire country, or, like we said, building and breaking the next generation of cybersecurity.
So, what does this all add up to? Well, it's pretty clear that we're standing at the very beginning of the quantum era. This isn't just a small step forward, it's a technological leap that could completely reshape entire industries.
Okay, so if you take away anything from all this, remember these four things. 1. Quantum computers are built differently, using qubits that have the superpowers of superposition and entanglement. 2. They're not here to replace your phone. They're specialized tools for solving very specific, gigantic problems. 3. We are still in the early, noisy days, but things are moving incredibly fast. And 4. The investment is huge and the potential is even bigger. This is a big deal.
So, I'll leave you with this thought. We are right on the edge of having a tool that could solve some of humanity's biggest, thorniest challenges. If you had the power to calculate the incalculable, what problem would you want to solve first? Thanks for joining us.